Equalizer 3, starring
Yeah.
Denzel Washington and directed by Antoine Fuqua.
Right. You asking me first?
Yeah,
Yay.
yeah. What are your
All
thoughts?
right, let's go. Antoine, directed by Antoine Fuqua. Let's get this right. This guy is an amazing director. He's already kind of proven himself as one of the top directors in Hollywood right now with movies like Training Day, the Equalizer series, Emancipation. As much as the movie wasn't an amazing movie, it was shot beautifully and directed beautifully.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is top of the line. This
Magnificent Seven.
Magnificent Seven as well, of course. Um, I'm a big fan of the Equalizer films. I've loved them and I enjoy watching them repeatedly. I know that's one of Paul's prerequisites to whether or not a movie is good or not. For me, I can watch Equalizer movies all the time because there's just something about Denzel Washington nonchalantly being able to destroy people at will.
Yeah.
Uh, this is the final chapter where you're set up in Italy, in Sicily, and Denzel Washington's character McCall is there. Robert McCall. He's there, and he just did a job. You're not really sure what the job is, but now he's in Sicily, and he's in this little town of Altamonte, which is gorgeous. This beautiful coastal town that just kind of goes up the mountainside. It's picturesque. And for me personally, this movie hits home in a way because where he decides that he wants to finish the rest of his life is exactly where I want to finish the rest of my life. So I'm already right there with the Equalizer in this movie, right? And then of course you're in Sicily, so there's mafia, and then things sort of transpire, and you will see what happens if you go and see this movie. What I will say is that this is not only action packed as they always are, but there is a little tiny element of gore and like whoa, a little bit more in the killing that is a little bit more in your face than the other two. Because I just rewatched the other two the other day, and Denzel's really, really great. I'm going to get your take on it, and then I have one complaint about the Equalizer series, but I want to hear your take on
Yeah.
this, on
So
the episode 3.
I never saw the second one, so I rewatched the first one again, and then watched the second one. I didn't fully pay attention to the second one, so I probably need to rewatch that one. But I
Yeah,
agree
the
that
second one combines these two. I mean,
yeah.
yeah. All right, go on.
So I do think these series are, it's a unique series in the sense that this is your classic vigilante genre, right? Also made famous by Liam Neeson. But these two guys are the vigilante guys, right? And I thought this movie had a lot of heart and isn't just pure action or pure vigilante. There are large gaps where you're developing the character and the story and all that. And I think that,
Exactly. You're experiencing what his life is like, and
yeah,
it really does draw you in for sure.
yeah, and I think, and again, like without really having a great grasp of the second one, I felt like I wouldn't necessarily call this the best one of the three, but I would say this is probably the most complete film of the three. I think storyline, you get a little bit more in depth on his needs and his personal things versus the first one is very, man man wants to, save girl, right? And
There's still a lot of mystery shrouding his existence and who he is. Um,
yeah,
what I loved about this third one is that they gave you a taste that he finally is taking the ring off and he's finally trying to move forward in his
yeah,
personal life.
exactly, yeah,
And they've actually taken him and his character to a new place, and at the same time, they're still making him as badass as humanly possible. I will say that I've said that this is almost like it's a more realistic sort of John Wick in a way where John
Mhm.
Wick could just go into a room destroy 15 people who are armed to the T's
Yeah.
and walk
Very
out.
similar to the first John Wick,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
again, it's a lot of story compared to like the second one is more
Right.
violent.
Now, the only thing I have against these films, and it's minor, even though it's kind of big at the same time, is that there's never a moment of, when like the hero, there's that last little moment where not the all is lost moment where, oh my gosh, I'm so depressed, we can't move on. But the very end, during like the finale, where he's about to be killed, but then something happens and then
Right.
he triumphs.
The
You know what I
twist,
mean?
yeah, kind of like the twist.
There's never a twisted ending. It's always at the end, he's going to come in and he's just going to annihilate.
Yeah,
And to Antoine Fuqua's credit, he goes into these final scenes and just delivers amazing ending sequences.
yeah,
I personally love the moments
yeah,
of like those final scenes with heroes, but I mean, I'm nitpicking. I think that this is a great series. This is a great trilogy. Um, I love that. I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a thing at the end that you're going to be like, oh, that's how it all connects.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's really well done. I would go see this movie 100%.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen any of them, of course, check out the series. Like I said, if you like John Wick, Die Hard, even,
Sure.
maybe Taken, I think those are really good comps for this film. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think that's maybe why this film is not maybe the greatest of all, like retribution type films, is
Right.
the fact that he's never really purely struggling, and they get away with it. And
But
so
I think they
it's
get
not
away
really
with it
fun.
because I think they've set it up brilliantly in a way, which, now that we're talking about it out loud, it almost makes sense that the finale is he's not going to have any issues because he's always been like, okay, 30 seconds and you're all are dead. And he goes,
Yeah,
and then he's like, and he maps it out in his mind and
yeah,
and then he executes. Um, and you've seen it through two movies, and then as you're watching this third, you see him doing it through the third movie as well. Could this be just somebody who's so calculated and so precise, and he's such a master at what he does, that's the reason why his end sequences don't have a struggle, because he's just that good. I don't know, maybe that's what the intention was. Either way, it's a great watch.
yeah. It worked regardless. And again, you can't always do that in films, but I think part of it is just it's Denzel Washington, and I think that gives you a little bit of latitude in terms of that. Like if we're starting in this movie, you know what I mean, and we directed and wrote a movie, and I'm the star, I don't have that kind of cachet with the audience, and so they'll be like, "No, dude, like,
Yeah, you probably don't.
it'd be too easy," you know what I mean? Because I don't have that reputation, and
Yeah.
so I think that's how Fuqua can get away with this.
It was also nice to see Denzel and Dakota Fanning back in action together again. Weren't they in Man on Fire together?
Yeah,
They were really good in that, and it was great to see them back together again. That's always a positive.
yeah, for
And
sure.
she had a good role.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, so we both recommend it, guys. Again, if you haven't seen any of them, start with the first one, of course, and then watch which one next, Pete?
Equalizer 2.
Yeah.
And
Then number 3. Yeah.
then go to number 3.
You're only going to hear that here on the Action Podcast, guys. Not all sites are going to lead you in that direction.
You
So.
never go 3, 1, 2. You always go 1,
Yeah.
2, 3.
So I'm just shake it up and say watch them, but awesome. So let's move to our next movie, which is